Hey everybody, welcome to the Boulder Dash Podcast. I am Joe, your host. Thank you so much for joining us today. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I cannot get video going. But we must progress and we must keep on going. That's what we must do. And so this week is another episode of us not having video. It's crazy. It's crazy because we go into video and we think, hey, we're going to do video. It's going to be all good and everything should run like it should. But it doesn't, man. And I don't know why. It just cannot be consistent. Not like audio. I come on here on the audio, I hit play, and we're ready to go. It's super easy. But you guys on YouTube, you guys love it. You love it so much, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you guys are liking the video and stuff, but man, this is super difficult. My programs and everything, it's not picking up my audio. I don't know why. Everything's running through the soundboard. Everything's running just fine, but it just won't go through my software that I have. So we have another episode here with audio instead of video. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Welcome to the Boulder Dash Podcast. What is Boulder Dash? Boulder Dash means nonsense and senselessness. And I feel like there's a lot of nonsense and senselessness here in the world. So I talk about it, right? I talk about things that go on in my life, things that are going on in politics, things that are happening in the entertainment world, and we try to figure out all the craziness that is happening in the world. Now, while we're on that journey, we might find a lot of craziness that I cannot deal with. So that's why I come to you, the listener, the viewer, right? And I say, hey, let's talk about this issue here because I don't understand it, right? So just make sure you guys go on and you like and you comment. Go to Gateway Pro Productions on Facebook, Instagram at the Balderdash_20. TikTok, that's also where you can find us, or go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, where you guys can find us at the Boulder Dash Podcast. So let's get right on into it. Guys, we all need a crutch, right? We all have a crutch, okay? And what I wanted to talk about today is kind of a thing where it's believe or not believe, or just to understand that we all have a crutch and we all need a crutch, right? And what I mean by that is this world is crazy. This world is a scary world, right? There's so many things that go on in this world and we just don't understand it. So we all have something that we use to support us in this crazy world, right? Whether that be religion, whether that be politics, whether that be friends, drugs or alcohol, we all have something that we run to, something that supports us in this life, right? And one of the things I really want to talk about is that even though we all have this crutch, we can't let our crutch won't work for everybody, right? Type of a thing, okay? If you are a person who believes in religion and that gets you through life, that's great and awesome for you. But that doesn't work for a lot of people. If you're a person who loves talking about politics and you believe in politics, you believe in the Republican Party, you believe in the Democratic Party, you believe in a third party, and that gets you through life, that's awesome, right? If you're a person who's into drug and alcohol, that's not awesome, right? But that gets you through, Illegal drugs, right? Illegal drugs, drugs that are legal, or most of them are good, I'm talking about a little marijuana right there, right? But we all have something. And I feel like we all think that even though that might work for me, it doesn't work for a lot of people, right? It doesn't work for a lot of people. So I really wanted to come on here and just say, hey, whatever you've got, whatever your crutch is, don't be pushing it on other people. That's what this believe or not believe portion of it is. It's about, right? Just believe in your thing. If somebody doesn't have the same ideas as you, Why are you getting upset about it, right? I believe that we are all people who have this beautiful mind inside of our heads, right? And we're taking this world in, right? And we are trying to figure it out. And what happens is we figure it out to the best way we can, and then we make an opinion, we make a hypothesis, right? We choose to live a certain way, right? And people get down on each other about that, right? See, I'm a person who loves to learn. I love learning, right? Especially things that I don't understand. Like, you can really see me geek out about animals, which we've done a podcast on that. You can really see me geeking out about podcasting. I could talk about this all day. But then I like to geek out about other things, right? And especially things that I don't know, right? I always want to learn something new. And that's why you'll find me looking or reading something or watching something like Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? He's a perfect example of that. Neil deGrasse Tyson has a podcast, and he's an astrophysicist, if you guys don't know. This guy is super smart, right? And I like to learn about this universe and things in the universe, right? But I don't want to go to school, and I don't want to read a book, and I just kind of want somebody to tell me who's knowledgeable, and that's their field, right? And so I go to Neil deGrasse Tyson, he listens to his podcast, and he gives you such a good understanding of the world we live in, right? Based off of facts and science and things. And he's really good at explaining what's going on in this universe. And it's really nice to go and sit down and talk to someone or listen to someone that knows what the heck they're talking about, right? I like that. And I think that's super important for us as people, right? We don't know everything in this world. So it's really good to find a community, find people that know stuff about other stuff, right? I think it's crazy, you know? Sorry, I'm blowing up on TikTok right now. I posted a video and it's blowing up. Everybody's like commenting like zzz, 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 zzz. But I think it's really good for us to find community because that's what we all want, right? We all want a sense of community, right? I think all creatures in the world, that's what we're kind of built on. You can look at like lions and a pride. They're built on a community. The bigger the community, the bigger their pride, the better their outcome of them living is, right? It's the same thing with all the other animals, and I think that's something that we do. It's the same thing for us, right? The more people we have surrounding us, the more different viewpoints of this world that we have, the better person we are, right? That's why I don't like people who are just Republicans or people who are just Democrats, right? Because they only see the world through one lens, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Look at the lens of another person, right? Like Democrats, what if we looked through the lens of why someone loves guns, right? I've talked to a couple people and they've kind of given me an understanding, right? They haven't really swayed my opinion on anything, but it kind of gave me a new light, right? These are people who grew up with guns. They were a part of their families, right? They were taught how to use guns safely and things like that. Right? So guns hold a special place in their hearts, and they think that the government is trying to take their guns away. This special part of them that has been with them their whole life, type of a deal. Right? Republicans, go and ask a woman about her life. Right? Ask them what they've been through, how they are treated. If you go talk to them about how they were treated in the past, you will hear there's a different story. They have overcome a lot of things, but they are still dealing with a lot. And if we as people could come together and just talk about issues without getting upset, that's the one thing I don't understand about a lot of this, right? Is that right now we are going through the whole, what is it? I can't think of the word right now. But you have the Republicans and the Democrats wanting to be president, right? The campaign. We have these campaigns going on. There's the word. We have the campaign going on, and people are fighting against each other. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Are we listening to what people are saying, right? A lot of people that I talk to, they say that they are in the middle ground. and you hear some of the things that they say, and it's true. And I like talking to those people because they have different points of view. But I really don't, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, but I do not like that you just have that one ideology, right? I love Republicans who I sit down and talk to, right? And they will have their beliefs, but they're open to so much, right? I love Democrats that are the same way. I think we as people cannot be close-minded because especially a lot of these issues that are going on here in the United States, they're not just black and white, right? There were so many variables, like with guns, right? Yes, they kill a lot of people, but they do protect people, right? We use a lot of guns and stuff like that. Abortion, people say abortion is killing, but also too, it's affecting the lives of these women. Like, everything is not black and white. If you take one of these issues, you have to go down and look at the pros and cons. And then once you have all the pros and cons, you have to sit down and say, well, which ones are the really bad ones? What are some cons we can just throw away? What are some pros that we can just throw away about this issue? Why can't we just come together and just figure something out, right? So I think basically we all need a community, right? I think we all need a community. And I think we all need to be open-minded because I think that's going to make us better as people, right? That's what I think. And I hope you think the same way too because you got to understand, it's an election year. Both parties are campaigning. And it is super important who we choose as the next president, right? Because I don't know if it's Kamala, I don't know if it's Trump, but no matter what happens, this is a pivotal time, right? It's a pivotal time. I don't know if you ever had a pivotal moment in your life, right? I don't know if you've ever had a pivotal moment. And let me kind of explain that, right? I remember watching The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire in it. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But there's one scene in it where Gatsby and Daisy, they're together, right? And Gatsby, he knows that he's destined for so much more, that he's destined to be great, right? That he's going to be this big, important person, right? But he's in love with Daisy. And there's this point in the movie where they're locked in each other's arms. And he's looking at Daisy, and Daisy's looking at him, and he looks at her, and he's just like, if I kiss her, this is a pivotal moment in my life where I will fall in love with her, and I will be hers forever. But if I don't, I will be this big, important person that I am destined to be. And he looks up at the stars, right? Then he looks down at Daisy. And then he kisses her because he chooses her. And that's a pivotal moment in his life because from that point on, he was in love with Daisy. And even when they grew apart and they were apart from each other, he had this desire to be with her, right? It basically what the whole movie's about is him trying to get her back. And I think that's what's happening now. We're at this pivotal moment where we're at this fork in the road, and we as the American people have a decision to make. And it's a very important decision. If we make the wrong decision, it could be great. The destruction could be great. It's a very pivotal moment right now. And then one thing I also want, right? So I think we as people need to believe or not believe, right? We need to have a sense of community, right? I think it's okay for you to believe what you want to believe. But I also think that you need to find a sense of community outside of your beliefs in order to gain more knowledge about the world, right? I think it's crazy because when I was a Christian, people always say you gotta make sure you read the Bible. You got to make sure you study Bible verses, because when a sinner comes your way, you don't want them making you stumble and fall away from the faith. And I was thinking to myself, man, if I truly believe this, it's going to be super hard for someone to stop me from believing. Because then, if it's so easy for someone to push me away from the faith, then I didn't believe at all, type of a deal. That's what I think. And here's the crazy thing. For me, it wasn't even really like other people. It was the Bible itself. Like, you read it, and you read it point blank, and it says this, this, and this, and this, and this. That don't seem right, right? Type of a deal. You know, it's the same thing with politics. I think that we as people should believe in what we believe so much that we can't be altered in it, right? There should be some openness to it, but you should add on to your belief, type of a deal, right? Like, when I talk to other podcasters about podcasting and their shows, right? They'll say, oh, Joe, this works good for me, or this works best for me, or this and this, or you should try this. I don't change my whole show, right? I either add or take away based off of what they told me, because I think, that might work for me, type of a deal. And that's how I kind of think we need to be, right? We need to be firm in what we believe in, but be open to opportunities and opinions. And then when if something does work for us, or that something that somebody told us is something cool, then we can add that and not just tear down the whole building. But I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Make sure you go to Gateway Pro Productions on Facebook, Instagram at _20. That's also where you can find us on TikTok. And don't forget to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Let's move on to the next topic. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I'm trying so much. I'm trying to just put out a podcast, and I can't put out a podcast, Well, Joe, you didn't have so much goddamn stuff hooked up to this one computer. Maybe stuff wouldn't run slow. I know, leave me alone. I just got one laptop. Well, you need a CPU. That's what you need. You need a CPU. You got to have one of them little boxes down here to where everything can run, because then it'll be more powerful. I know, I just ain't got the money. Well, you need to start monetizing, okay? Start monetizing, and this podcast will be fantastic. You get your CPU, you get all monitors everywhere. You be able to watch TV while you're doing the show. Like, you be able to watch CNN or Fox News while you're doing the show. You get a couple of monitors in here. I know, but I can't. So I was looking at this. Okay, what are luxuries back then versus today, right? Because a lot of things used to be what we call luxuries back then. They're different, right? A lot of things that used to be luxury back in the day, or let me say this. A lot of things that used to be normal back then are luxuries to us right now, right? Like going to the store and buying $100 worth of groceries, right? I just went to the store, right? I do the grocery shopping. So I made a grocery list, and I was like, look at this list. This is a beautiful list. We don't have that much stuff, right? So I was like, my goal is $100. I'm going to spend $100 at the store, right? So I go to Aldi's. I start going off the list. I start throwing stuff in there. I get to the cash register, right? The lady looks at me. I said, all right, here we go. I said, my goal is to hit $100. I said, last time I went over, so let's get it and let's do it. She starts scanning stuff. The price starts racking up. I get to the end of it, right? It is $101.37, right? I was pretty happy for myself. I just bought a week's worth of groceries for $101. Man, I don't know where that came from. Gosh, dang, I'm always coughing when it's time to do a show. Right? And I was happy. I was happy with myself. But then I had to go over to Walmart, right? I had to go to Walmart. I had to get just a little bit of items, right? Just the stuff you couldn't get at Aldi. So I'm going through the store. I'm getting stuff. I'm a cheapskate, so I'm looking for like the cheapest items to get from Walmart because I know the price is going to rack up, and I'm looking to spend an extra maybe $100, right? No, I don't go in and I do not spend $100. Or $50. I spend $125 for 18 items at Walmart, right? I cannot believe that. Can you imagine if I would have went? So I went to Aldi, spent $101. Then I went to Walmart and spent $125. If I went to Walmart, which is supposed to be the place that has the deals, right? Like you look at the deals, you're supposed to be able to get deals at Walmart, right? If I would have went to Walmart and bought all my groceries, which I was thinking about, I would have spent over $200 to $300 on groceries for 1 week. I understand maybe going out and buying groceries for $200 for 2 weeks because that's what we usually do. But for that's crazy to me. What is going on in this world, right? That is something that used to be normal. You used to be able to go to the store, spend $100, right? Maybe a little bit over $100, and you would be able to maybe get like 2 or 3 weeks worth of food, right? Like you didn't have to budget. I miss this is what I miss. I miss going to the store, right? I miss going to the store and just throwing stuff in there. That's what I miss, right? With no repercussions at all. Like you go buy, you know what? I like cereal. Cereal is what I'm craving right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy 2.5 gallons of milk and 3 boxes of cereal because I'm gonna eat cereal like crazy type of deal. That's what I want. Right? I miss those days, and I wish we could get back to stuff like that, right? Another thing that was normal for people back then that's a luxury is vacation, right? Nobody goes on vacation anymore, right? Like, one of the reasons why I haven't gone on a vacation is because I can't take time off work. If I take time off work, that is going to basically kill my bills, right? I can't save any money to go on vacation, right? That's something that people used to do back in the day normally. Just like, hey, Bill, where are you going? Well, the kids and I, we always go cross country for 2 weeks, We always go cross country with the gas and groceries and hotels and camping. It's just a jolly old time. That's what we used to do. We can't do that. We can't do that. If Spotify was our parent company like it used to be, I would play Good Times right now because that's what we want to get back to, is good times. Now, when I was talking about stuff like this in my last episode where I was like basically doing like getting you ready for this episode, I don't mean that we need to go back to the 70s and the 60s. I'm not sitting here like, let's make America great again. Not doing that. What I'm saying is we today need to make the economy better for people, right? We need to make it easier for people to live, right? Because this is my whole thing. This is what I think, okay? And maybe I'm stupid, and maybe I just don't know how government and everything works, but this is what I would think, right? I think billionaires, they spend a lot of money, right? But they spend it at one particular time, right? I want a boat. I want a boat now. I'm going to buy this boat, right? And then they might not spend any money for a long time. And then they might buy a house, or they might do this, and then the rest of the stuff that they spend is kind of just like mundane stuff, groceries, washer and dryer, stuff like just stuff regular people would buy. But they buy big stuff just like us every once in a while. With the middle class, right, it's one of those things where we constantly are buying things, right? We are constantly going to the grocery store. We are constantly going to the restaurants and things like that. We're constantly doing a lot of stuff. So we, the middle class people, we are the constant force that's driving, It's kind of like, let's just take the podcast, for instance, right? I might have a video that blows up, right? I might have a video that blows up, but I cannot base the people that are going to be watching my show. I can't say, okay. Based off of that last episode, that's fine. I made my money on that, right? So I need to keep making episodes that same way, right? And a lot of people do this, right? They stick with the same thing and they get the same results. But for me in this show, no, I like to make my content for me, and then I like to make my content for the people I know that's going to come back, right? So, like when I had the Joe Show and we were first starting off, I had a couple of podcast episodes that blew up, right? And I was just like, guess what? Next week, those same people ain't going to be here, right? Who's going to be here? My main people. The main people that are commenting, the main people that are here with me when I first started. Those are the people who are going to be with me in the long run. So I'm going to keep making content for those people. It's nice to get new people, right? And it's nice for my videos to kind of blow up, but that just doesn't hold much. And so basically what I'm saying is the middle class is the people that's always going to be there. They're going to be the people who keep putting money into the economy, because here's the thing. One of the things that they keep talking about when they start talking about the economy is, are people spending, right? They're not talking about billionaire spending. They're talking about people, regular people. Are we going to the grocery store? Like right now, they were talking about people treating Olive Garden and a lot of these other restaurants as luxuries, right? So what's happening is McDonald's, Rally's, Wendy's, they have cheaper prices, right? So therefore, that's where we go. And a lot of people aren't going to Olive Garden or to Outback or to Longhorn or Texas Roadhouse because they see those things as luxury, right? When they get a little bit of extra money in their paycheck, that's when they go to those places. So then what people were trying to figure out is, how do we get these people to start coming more? How do we stop them from seeing this as a luxurious place? Well, you have places like Olive Garden who are making deals for families so that more people can come, right? They're not doing it for the billionaires. Who are they doing it for? The middle class, right? Billionaires are not worried about grocery prices. They're not worried about how much a car costs. Who is worried about that? The middle class. And we are going to be buying all that stuff, right? And what I think is that if you treat the middle class well, if you give them money for the work that they do, a good livable wage for what they do, then they're going to go out and buy other things. When I get a big check, right, I pay all my bills and I do everything I'm supposed to with my check. But then with that little extra money, I'm going out to eat. I'm buying stuff off of Amazon. I'm buying things that I wouldn't normally buy, right? Type of a deal. And that's what we need to get to. We need to stop having things that used to be normal back then as luxuries, as like going to a restaurant, going on vacation, right? We need to stop that, right? I think we need to get back to those things because it's ridiculous, right? Like I said, I just don't understand how Grandpa back in the day could have 5 different families, own a home, on one job. I don't understand that, right? I just don't get it. How can we make everything better, right? I just don't know. We need to stop looking at these billionaires and what they're doing, because at the end of the day, when you're doing your statistics, you're not looking at them, right? Because if you were looking at them, everything would be through the roof, right? Everything would be through the roof because of what their buying power. When you look at me and all these other people who are like me, you need to look at what can we afford? What are jobs paying, right? In Illinois, they just raised the minimum wage over the next 10 years, or over the next 5 years. In 2025, the minimum wage will be $15 an hour. Here in Indiana, it's still like $7.25, man. It's crazy to me. And then when you talk to people about like living in Terre Haute, they're just like, oh, you make $12 an hour at your job? Wow, oh my God. Man, you making the money. What are you talking about? Well, I make $7.25. What do you mean you make $7.25? It shouldn't be that way, man. It's getting ridiculous out here, right? I should not have to decide between. I shouldn't be making life and death decisions when I get my paycheck, right? I should be able to pay my bills, and I should be able to go do fun stuff. But what's happening is people are going to the grocery store, right? And they are buying food. You want to know why people are obese? Because we can't go nowhere. We can't go anywhere. We can't go on vacation. We can't, hell, I can't afford to go see family. We can't do anything with our money. The money that we get after we pay all our bills and stuff, we can't do anything except for buy food, right? So, so with this little bit of money that I have after all my bills are paid, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a subscription to HBO Max. I'm going to buy a subscription to Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and then I'm going to use some of that money to go to the store and buy some of my favorite snacks. And then I'm going to sit in front of my goddamn a computer, phone, TV, and I'm going to watch TV and eat my snacks. Why? Because that's the cheapest option, right? Gas is through the roof, right? I should not have to save like $1,000 to go see family. They live in the other state. They live right next door in Illinois, right? I should just be able to go over there for a day trip, right? I should be able to go over there for a weekend. No, can't do that. Making life decisions, sitting here just like, damn, we could go see family, but if we did, we'd be working every single day for the next 4 months. And then right after that, Christmas is right around the corner. And we have to see them for that holiday. So literally until April of next year, we're going to be struggling. Because we got to pay for this extra stuff. We got to pay for travel and then presents and then food and all. Like, it's just crazy, man. And I wish we could get back to a time or get to a time, because I don't think this was something that has ever happened, but get to a time where everybody has a livable wage. And then what happens is, I think once we have a livable wage, and a lot of us are responsible, right? You have those responsible people, they go out there, they make their money, they have enough money left over to do life things, right? Like, go buy a car if you want to, right? Go on vacation, go see family, because when you go do things like that, what happens? You start doing other things. When I go on vacation, the reason why I got to save so much money for vacation is not because of gas, but because when you go on vacation, when you go see family, you act like you on vacation type of a deal. You like, you want that? You get it right now, because life at home don't matter right now, okay? You want that? You get that, because life at home don't matter anymore. I can't tell you how many times that's happened where we've been on vacation or we've gone to go see family, and I'm just like, yes, spend your money. I don't care what happens at home. We do that, and then we get back home to this house, and I be laying in bed, I'm like, damn. We spent too much money. It looks like beans and rice, or in the way of Dave Ramsey. What you need to do is you need to go find a pizza delivery job, work your butt off, and then you just need to eat beans and rice, okay? Me and my wife did that for 15 years, right? We ate beans and rice until we paid our kids off, paid our kids college off. That's what we did, okay? And that's what you need to do. That's baby six, number 6, okay? So, if you are tight on money, okay? If you are tight on money and you want to be debt free, what you do is you buy my book, okay? You buy my book for $45,000, okay? And that will show you how to get out of debt real quick. The Dave Ramsey Remedy. I always thought it was funny. I always thought that was funny, right? It'd be one of those things. It'd be like, yes, Dave, we are on baby six number six, and we still have this much debt, and we were just trying to figure out if we should move some money from over here and put it in here, or if we should save it, or should we buy a house. And then he'd be like, well, what you need to do is you need to buckle down, go get your 5 or 6 job, don't spend any time with your family, eat beans and rice, and do that for the next 50 years, and by the time you're 60, you should have enough retirement in your Roth IRA to relax for the rest of your years. And you'd be like, well, Dave, hold on, Dave. Sounds like a great plan. I know you've done this for a very long time, but, sir, the life expectancy of a person is usually from about 72 to 100 years of age. And also too, Dan, I just want you to know that, I'm a black male, and statistically, a black male only really lives up to 64, right? So, technically, I would only have 4 years of life expectancy, unless I'm different. But I've seen my family pass, my medical history in my family, it's not good. So I'm probably dying at 64. So that means I would only have 4 years left after I retire in order to do my, to live in my retirement. So what are some ways that I can get there faster? Well, then what you need to do is you need to be on a water diet and you just need to be working 24 hours. 24 hours a day, okay, for the next 16 years, okay, and that will probably take off another 20 years. So by the time you're 40, you'll have 20 years left there. But, it's just something you're going to have to do for the next 15 years, okay? Be on a water diet, okay, and be working 24 hours a day. Let's see, you'd be like, but Dave, I just don't think that's good, And it'd be like, listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's all you got to do when you're doing this thing, okay? You just got to make sure you eat beans and rice, okay? And you got to make sure you're on that water diet, and that's how you are going to become debt-free. And also buy my Dave Ramsey book. That's what you do, And that's how we do it. We'll be more back with the Dave Ramsey Show. That's how it works, okay? So we got to figure out, okay? I feel like I've been rambling and just joking around, okay? I'm sorry, okay? I'm just having too much fun on here, especially because I got video now, okay? I'm sorry. Dang. Just like talking to you guys, man. Wish I would talk back, because I feel like this is a one-sided conversation. So many of y'all just listen to what I'm saying, I guess y'all, that's okay, because I do like to talk and stuff like that, but, just message, just say, hey, Joe. How's life? Or this is what I think we could do to make things get back to normal, You can do something, but it's fine. So how do we do it, man? What do we do? Is voting this next president in? Is that going to make the economy better? What do we do as people? How can we make things better, right? Do we talk to our local officials and tell them, hey, the job market sucks here? Because that's how Terre Haute is. If you come to Terre Haute, people will tell you that the cost of living is not that bad. And living in Terre Haute, if you look at it, the cost of living isn't that bad, right? There's a lot of benefits here, right? I think all our bills and stuff, it's very easy, right? The problem here is there aren't any jobs here in Terre Haute, right? There's a couple. And if you do those couple of jobs, you're making good money, right? I got a girl right now who I know, she is working this job and she's making great money. She'd be like, look at this, Joe. Look at this. I got $2,500 on this paycheck. Last time I got $3,000 on this paycheck. I'm like, damn, girl, you making money. Yeah, you gonna take you and your baby out somewhere? No, actually, I can't take me and my son out nowhere. I'm like, girl, why can't you take you and your son out nowhere? Because they working all the time, right? I'm like, hey, I say, hey, when's the next time we getting together, hanging out and stuff like that, We can just go to a bar, we can just sit and chill, go to Top Golf or something like that. When we doing that? Oh, I can't. Well, why can't you do that? You got all this money in the world. I got money in my pocket. I just got a good paycheck. Let's go out and let's go do something. I can't because I'm working 24/7. I better see my son. I just did a 10-hour shift, and I'm going to go home and take a nap for 2 hours, and I'm going to go back and do a 10-hour shift. That's crazy, man. You got to work like that or find a job that's crazy. Like when I worked for Pepsi, that was literally the perfect job. You get up at 3:30, get to work at 4, you're off by noon, and if you want to work some more, you can. Listen, y'all, I was pulling 96 to 100 hours at Pepsi, making bank. But I still had time at home. I had weekends off. I had holidays off. I was still having time at home. And I got off at a decent hour. I had time to do this, right? I had time to live. It was a great paycheck till I fucked it up, right? We need more jobs like that. Something that you don't have to work very long at, right? You get a livable wage, but then also gives you time to live life. And a lot of people will hear that and say, well, Joe, that's not American. That's not right. Listen, when it comes to jobs, fuck that, man. We need the meaning of life, right? The meaning of life to me is this experience. That's what the meaning of life is to me, right? Is this experience. It's like when you go to a movie theater. You go and you spend that money so that you can have the experience. And that's what I think this is. It's an experience. And I feel like a lot of us are not getting the best experience here on this earth, or we're not getting the full experience because we're working so much, man. We're not here to work, right? That's not what we were built for. Fuck working, right? We need to be experiencing life. That's what we need to be doing. America's got us all fucked up in the head. You know, you work 40, 50 years of your life, and then you spend the last 20 years living life. But by that time, you're too goddamn old. A lot of my people that I know, these older men, they're hard workers. They've been working hard all their life, and now their body is so broken down that they can't go out and experience everything. They're bound to a wheelchair. They're bound to their bed. You know, they can't go out and hang out with their grandkids and just do stuff because they have worked so hard and broken down their body. And then their last 20 years on this earth is just pitiful because they're going to doctor's office most of the time, right? And the doctors don't give a fuck about you because if they did, they would give you treatment that would fix you instead of just treat you. Type of a deal. This whole world's fucked up. That's what it is. All I'm saying is this, okay? At the end of the day, all I'm saying is this. I just want the experience of this world to be better. I want people to be happy in this world. And I think that the depression rate of people, the suicidal rate of people, people's happiness would go up, and depression and sadness and people would go down if we did that. If they weren't spending most of their time at work and they were making a livable wage and they were able to go out and spend money on things that they want to do and experience life, man, it would be happy. They would be happy. Like in the first part of this show, I was talking about community, how we need community. If we're working all the time, we cannot develop a community, right? That's why people are so depressed. Because not only because of social media, but they flock to social media to find their community, right? Because when they get off work, it's 2 o'clock in the goddamn morning. And they want an hour to connect with people, right? Like, I was listening to something on the radio. I'm getting ready, and I promise. But I was listening to something on the radio. And they were talking about how you should make work friends. And I'm totally against that. Right? I think you should have a couple of work friends, right? And then everybody should be your associates. Have like 2 good people who are ride or die at your job, right? And then the rest of them, forget them all. Because what I think happens is we spend so much time at work. This article and this report was basically saying we spend so much time at work, it's stupid not to become friends with your coworkers, right? And I get that to a point. But the thing I'm saying is I shouldn't even be spending that much time with my coworkers, right? I should be spending so little time with my coworkers that they don't know nothing about me, right? That's how it should be. And then if they do want to know more about me, they will use the free time that we are supposed to have. Like, let's just say in my perfect world, we have a livable wage. We don't work that much. Like, we don't have that many hours, right? Okay. So we've got a livable wage. We don't work that many hours. On our downtime, if they want to know any more about me, they hang out with me, right? That's what they do. But I should be spending time with my own friends and my own communities. That's what I should be doing, right? Maybe if like I had a guy come up to me, he said, "Hey man, there's this homeless community, right? There's this group who helps homeless, and they help veterans who are homeless." And he was like, "And we need volunteers." He's like, "Can I count on you to volunteer?" And I said, "Nope." And he was like, "Why?" And I said, "I have no time." He said, "Well, you would make the time if it was important to you." And I said, "I literally have no time because I go to work, and then after I work, I go do something like this or deal with family. Like Fridays are my only day." And let me tell you something. It is 4:12, right? Which means I started this podcast about 3:30, right? That's when I did. Okay, so I started this podcast at 3:30. Do y'all know what I've been doing this whole day? I woke up. I had to shower. I went to a meeting with the production person. Then I had lunch with my partner. Then I went to grocery shop, right? Then I just got back from grocery shop and just put the dishes away and decided to sit here and do this, right? At 4:12, my partner's getting ready to get off here at 4:30. Getting ready to get off, gonna pick up the boys. They gonna come home. They are ready to eat, clean up, get ready for bed. By the time I am actually ready to settle down, right? It's about 9 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock at night. I ain't got no time to do nothing else but sit and play video games, right? And that's my day off. That's my day off, man. I gotta go to work tomorrow. I'm gonna be busy all day. There ain't no rest for the wicked. It's okay. It's okay. I just remember I still gotta edit this thing too. All right. Listen, one thing I really wanted you guys to know is I am so thankful for you. Truly, this is not even no little showboating thing, because I hate when people do that. They're just like, "Hey, I'm so thankful that you subscribe to my YouTube," and I'm so no, this is legitimate. Like, this is something that I love to do. I love talking to you. I love acting crazy. I love bringing these topics to you, and I thank you that you watch and you listen to these, because they're fun to do, man. It really just helps me breathe, right? And I thank you guys so much for doing all that, right? I thank you so much for just listening and just doing everything with me. Like I said, you can show your appreciation by commenting. You can show your appreciation by liking and subscribing. Just show the show some love. And tell me what you guys want to talk about. It's an election year. We got a lot of stuff we could talk about. Are you for Trump? Are you against Kamala? Which one? I want to know. So let me know. Do you think I'm stupid in thinking that people should believe whatever they want to believe? Do you think I'm wrong when I say, "Hey, we need community," right? Or do you think I'm right? And what about the luxuries? Do we need to make things that we find luxuries now? Do we need to bring them back to normal, right? Like, I should not be at the store deciding if I want Cinnamon Toast Crunch or the Great Value version, right? Tell me what you think. Tell me something, okay? Now it's time for me to go, all right? And I'm going to leave. Just make sure you find us at Gateway Pro Productions on Facebook. Instagram at _20. And you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I almost messed up. At the Boulder Dash Podcast. As of right now, guys, I am headed out. I had such a great time being with you. I hope to see you guys next time. Adios, amigos.